Welcome to another episode of the Woman Up podcast, a place where women in business come for success, sisterhood, and the real conversations that we actually want to have. This is not another Women in Business podcast where all we talk about is strategy and scaling. This is the place where we connect with each other beyond the hustle. So we share our personal stories, our journeys, and how real life has actually shaped us. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're watching or listening on Spotify or Apple, hit the follow button for the same reason. So this week, I have a special guest with me. I'm really excited for you guys to get to know him. So please welcome to our space, Uzochukwu Chima.
Yes, right.
Did
You
I
got
pronounce it
You did.
correctly? Oh my God, I was so worried.
Perfect.
That's amazing. How are you?
I'm well. And yourself?
I'm amazing.
Long time no see.
Yes, not really. Before we get started, let's tell people who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Uzochukwu Chima, and the first name is a tongue twister, so a lot of people know me by Chima.
Yeah.
I am the founder of Lindenhaus, which is a company that is based in New York, but we have a global footprint, especially here in the UK. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I say I wanna live a life where we're friends, working and living with friends. So that's my goal.
Yeah. Tell us about Lindenhaus, firstly.
Lindenhaus came about just in a nutshell. I'll just put it in a nutshell. And I like to talk about the why behind Lindenhaus.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's clear why we're doing what we're doing. But it came about after I'd experienced an illness in my family, and I ended up at the hospitals. And we all know, we hear about stories with hospitals, but there's one thing when you're there. And so the experience I had with that was not nice, to say the least.
Yeah.
And so the end result, and my kid got better, so that was good. The end result was me just trying to build a company that addressed things that I thought were missing in the healthcare space. Just things like empathy, connection, time, just spending time with someone that's not well, and bringing a level of care to people that need care the most.
Yeah.
So we've evolved over the last decade to really what I believe is the root cause of a lot of our illness, which is we're becoming very disconnected from our true selves. And there's no way we can connect with other people properly if we're not connected to our true selves.
Right.
So we've started doing, for the last 3 years now, been doing retreats, in which you were at one of them, just to really first of all, just to release stress and get back to nature. And it's hard to hear your inner voice when you're not at peace, when you're not still, and when you're outside of nature. And so if we're trying to help people heal fully and get better, then there's no better thing to do than to get them back into places that can get balance.
Yeah.
And then we can have deeper discussions when we have that balance. But it's very hard to make any significant change or even find our purpose and all these things that we know we should do when we don't have balance. So that's where we're spending a lot of our time at Lindenhaus, creating experiences that can deliberately help people balance, remove stress, look each other in the eye, have real conversations, search together, be curious together, do fun things together. And that definitely is healing.
Yeah. 100%.
It's healing. And, we don't really associate, health with fun or, relaxing in the sense of real intentional. Get rid of your phone, at least for a little while. So that's what we're doing. And then, we say after a retreat, how do we help support people from there at home? So your home should be a retreat.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So then we help you transform where you live into the healthiest, most health-giving space that you can have. So
I love that.
That's what we do.
Just to go back a step, sorry, you said you had an experience. Was that with your son?
Yes.
What exactly happened there?
So at a certain age, he was turning about 14 at the time, and he just started going through a lot of anxiety attacks and got really bad very fast, and it wasn't any diagnosis we knew at the time. And so if you think, physical health can be it's a big issue, mental health is even worse.
Yeah.
Because there's very little understanding, very little understanding, lots of big words and big medications, but very little root cause understanding. So this is one of the reasons why I took on, not only dedicating myself to helping him, but even when he recovered and got better, I said, okay, there needs to be a group that is really delving into the issue of especially mental health. We're not robots. We can't just go with a label.
Yeah.
We're human spirits, human beings. We're living beings. So when you look at symptoms and say, yep, you have this, diagnosis, that actually can be damaging. I know a lot of people think, I got my diagnosis, so now I'm fine with myself. I have to adjust myself but I think that could be absolutely damaging.
Yeah.
If you haven't really found the root cause, you freeze on the surface. And then, of course, one of the big reasons that these diagnoses are given is commercialism, because now we can give you medications very specific. The medications are profitable. And so then we run people through the system. And then everyone says, at least I gave them medication. Well, we weren't put on earth to live with chemicals in our systems. And I'm not against medication, but if we haven't found root causes, then it's not, we really can't fully recover. So
yeah, I think that's one of the issues I have with diagnoses as well, is then you feel like, okay, now that I'm taking this medication, that's all I need to do.
Yes.
And I just don't feel that that's the answer.
100, we know it's not. It's just not. There's no doctor that can consciously say it is. Now, do they know the entire system of the human being and can they solve everything? No.
Yeah.
So they do their best.
Yeah, of course.
But it's our duty to go further than that. We have to go deeper. They say, oh, well, we don't know. Well, let's find out. It's like, we don't know. Well, inventions are made by people that are not satisfied with just conventional stuff, So before, light bulbs and these beautiful lights, we had candles and kerosene lamps. And people were dying from lung cancer because we're breathing all these fumes. And so a few people said, why should we do that? Like, probably can do better by capturing this light in the glass. And some people said, like, what are you talking about? What do you mean capture light in the glass? Well, no, we have it. And I think we have to take the same approach with things that seem very far as understanding. They're not that far as we think. We just have to find the basic things that actually make life operate, and then we can solve so many things. Science is far on the extreme in the sense that if we haven't done a study yet, it doesn't exist. We know that's not true, right? Because things exist that we don't know yet. So we can't wait till we have a study. So we have to find out. That's why most inventions come from people that didn't have any degrees. They just went to their garage and started tinkering, right? And they received the answer versus researched it. Answers don't come with research. They come from inspiration. They were downloaded to you. Every invention and every inventor, at least most of them tell you, they just woke up. They've been grappling with a question. They woke up and they knew the answer, the whole formula. Yeah. Right? Religion is also a way that people try to answer some of these questions. So but they're also extreme. And so on one end, you say, well, yes, the Lord really he works in mysterious ways. And so you don't question these things. You just have to have faith. And that's not healthy because we need answers. Yeah. Right? If we don't have answers, we live in perpetual anxiety. That's what causes anxiety. So it's not enough to just say, have faith. Yes, have faith as the beginning, because if you didn't think there was an answer, you won't even start going there. But then you need to find the answer. So if you have all these gaps or things that don't sound right, they just, in your soul, you just don't feel as right. It's our duty to say, you don't have to argue with anyone. But you don't have to take it in. You don't have to like, I'm going to live my life with this thing that I don't have clarity on. That's disastrous. And so that happens in science, and it also happens in religion.
Yeah.
That's why any truth bringer or any real serious, like curious renegade scientist, what they're really looking for is the truth. The truth. The truth is not a religious thing. The truth simply means the laws that make everything work. And that's why I thought, for me, going back to the question of healthcare and mental health, there's a lot of actually simple pathways to finding the root causes of all the issues that we're faced with today. And so maybe we'll talk about some of those pathways in a bit. But that's what I'm interested in. And Lindenhaus, my company, my personal life, everything for me is finding what these laws are. And if you believe in God and you know there's a higher power, there's no separation from the laws of physics and biology and nature and the Lord's will. It's the same thing. It's just religion explains it in a way that it needs further explanation.
Yeah.
So when people, an intelligent person hears how things are explained and it's offered the answer to say, like, just have faith, God works in mysterious ways. Well, he doesn't. There's nothing mysterious about nature.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty clear. And you don't have to be like a PhD to see nature and learn. You don't have to be a priest or pastor or imam or we don't need to do that to actually learn about all the laws in the universe. All you have to do is go outside for a while and pay attention to the birds and nature. You start to get a sense of what these laws are. So if we don't do that, we have to live in darkness.
What do you mean by that?
If we're not seeking clarity, I think I used the analogy in the last conversations we had, is if I walked into this building, even in the daytime, I'm thinking, is this a warehouse? Like, I don't know. Like, where do I go? Let's assume, you just said, just come upstairs. I'm like, okay. And I couldn't reach you on the phone, so I get in here, and I don't know where to come, first of all.
Yeah.
So I'm panicking.
Yeah.
It's like, where is she? You said, no, just I'm upstairs. Okay. Then assuming I walk in and all the lights were off.
Yeah.
Now I'm groping around. I'm looking for stairs. I'm tripping. I'm falling.
Yeah.
Maybe I find an elevator. And I'm like, okay, let me press the button. I go in, it's dark. I can't find the floors. I don't even know what floor, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine the difference between, here are the directions. Here's where I am. And here's how to get me. And when you get to the front floor, I'll send my assistant to come and get you. I'll be more relaxed.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's what's happening in our inner life. With all these things that we're taking on in society that we don't really understand, we're groping. And so someone that knows the details is more confident. Doesn't matter what area of life. So if you need the details of how to get up here, then just get up here. And I come faster. I come with more confidence. I come more prepared versus someone that didn't know. Just the thought of it will make me panic.
Yeah.
So this, in the same way, when we think about the big questions, why are we even on this earth? What are we doing here? Do we have tools? Are there things we can do? Maybe we're not even here for any reason. Like, I was coming to the 4th floor. I don't know, just coming. He said, just come. I said, why am I coming? He said, just come. Well, if I knew I was coming for a podcast, now I can prepare, right? I'm like, okay, what time? Versus, just come, no worries, come into the building, I'll be there. No details. So the less detail we have, the more panic we will be. Same in life, especially in life. We don't know why we're on this earth. We don't know when things are changing, right? We don't know when we're running out of time. We sense it. But we're like, is that what it means? And then we don't know what death means. And so if it's over, then what does that mean? Where am I going? Where did I come from in the first place? If these questions are vague, There is no way we can say we have joy, we're living with confidence, self-esteem. None of that is really possible in the truest sense, at least not sustainable, if we don't have clarity on these questions that everyone has.
Yeah.
Whether we want to deal with them or not, we have them. Or we find out. So that's what I think, in my experience, gives confidence, self-awareness, self-esteem, and makes things so much, even when things seem hard, we have these tools to get answers.
Yeah.
So,
But then where do you begin with that? Because if I'm, for example, trying to find my purpose, or I'm sick and I have these symptoms, like where do you begin to find these answers that are not necessarily
readily available.
Yeah.
I think if everyone on earth was curious and we didn't take no for an answer, meaning no one should tell us, hey, no one knows this, don't ask that, that's above your head. Like, no, everything has an answer. Not only an answer, a clear answer. If someone is sick, it's usually a good opportunity.
Yeah.
I think sickness is a sign to slow down and question the why. Difficulty is a help to question the why. So why are we even here? And the moment we start to question seriously, the moment that I think answers start to come. And you don't have to even go to ChatGPT or research. Actually, these kind of answers are not going to come from the research. We all came onto this earth with so much already in us. And it's not just a programming, it is actually what we own. It's in us. So the picture of where we're from actually is already there. Over time, it's buried. And sometimes it's completely buried in some people. But if it's not completely buried, you're always going to have this question, this yearning for something higher than just chasing money.
Yeah.
Go into nature. That's the first step.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any nature around you, go in, just drive to a park, if you can go for 3 days, go out there. Silence is helpful. For a lot of people today, it's hard to be silent. Our minds are not silent anymore, but they have to be. One of the reasons why our minds and my findings are not silent is because there are no answers. So there's a lot of chatter and panic. We're like panicking because everything seems dark and changing all the time. So I think to pause and make it a daily practice to just pause and ask questions inside. I can confirm that everyone has these invisible helpers that would offer you some answers. You don't need it from anywhere, especially the computer, because, as smart as ChatGPT is, it's the sum of what everyone has already said. And everyone doesn't have all the answers yet.
Yeah.
So then how are you going to, whether you mix it up left and right, you're still going to have the same outcomes. If you're inclined to meditate on it, you meditate quietly. If you're inclined to pray, you pray quietly and just ask. And I think you'll be surprised what you start to experience and the people you start to meet and the things you start to see in your life.
Hey ladies, quick pause. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. As mentioned earlier, if you want to be part of our community and be the first to know when we launch, connect with us on Instagram or join the email list. Both links are in the description. We're going to have monthly guest speakers, live check-ins, accountability group, and even some in-person meetups happening throughout the year. And I personally can't wait. I know this business journey can feel lonely at times, but you don't have to do it alone. Connect with us and join the movement. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Like, what is your journey with that?
Good question. So, I was born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And by the time I was about 16, I lost my father very suddenly. So that was, an introduction for me to question.
Yeah.
I could have not. It's very easy to not. People deal with grief in different ways. I think, like I said, hardship is an opportunity to pause and ask serious questions. Like, where is he now? Where did he go? Why did I have to experience this? Not everyone loses their dad. Like, why? And so those questions started to mount. And I started to find answers. started to find places where I could actually see explanations for what we had talked about as purpose. I started to have even dreams, very vivid, that were explaining things to me. And it confirmed without a doubt that period of time, that like 4 year period, that we are absolutely from a place that is way more beautiful than this earth.
Yeah.
That everyone that came here from there, our duty is to do something here, which we can talk about. What is the real purpose of being here? And how do we, are we supposed to go back? Are we supposed to just stay here forever? And when we die, we just sleep in the ground until something magical happens. Like, what are the answers? Because it's the same for everyone. We're not like living all different realities. But I think the biggest thing for me in that period was, where are we from? Why are we here? What is our purpose? Is your purpose different from mine? Does everyone have a different purpose? Or is it all the same?
Yeah.
And maybe we have different tools and different gifts. And I found actually it's all the same.
We all have the same purpose.
100%.
What is that purpose?
Just like an apple seed has one purpose. A seed has one purpose. If I asked you what's the purpose of a seed, what would you say?
To grow into a tree and bear fruit.
Right. So I found that we started our existence as human spirit seeds. And so we had to be planted somewhere else. Because if I have a bunch of seeds on this couch and I'm like, hurry up and grow, like that would sound crazy.
Yeah.
But what do I have to do if the seeds are going to grow?
Yeah, you need to put them in the soil.
Exactly. Take them down into the soil.
Yeah.
You dig deep. And the soil, is it nice and fluffy and warm, or is it dark and cold? Dark, yeah. Right? And it's dark, and you kind of bury it almost alive. If the seed didn't know better, it would say, whoever's torturing me is just so bad and I don't like them, right? Or if it knows better, it will say, finally, I can become a tree one day.
Yeah.
Right? So when we bury that seed, what are the things we need to do for the seed to actually come out of the ground as a small seedling or a tree?
Water it.
What else is important?
That it gets natural light, sunlight.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if the condition of the soil is good, that's the first step. Put it in there, you water it. You need some nutrients. Light. Without light, it's not growing. That is what I've confirmed. It's not my opinion anymore. It's a confirmation, just like I've confirmed gravity. That is what I have confirmed is happening or happened initially to everyone here. We left a place that was so much more beautiful, but higher up, where we really were seeds and we couldn't really exist just as seeds. So because of that, we have a memory of it. Everyone has the memory of where our home really is, and it's not here. We have it. And if someone describes it, you will start to feel like, I know that picture, right? Just like if you took a young child away from home for a while and they grew up to be an adult, and you show them pictures, they're like, I remember that place, right? So it's the same kind of thing with us. But as seeds, we had to be planted. So that's the journey down into the earth.
Okay.
So the earth is a heavier place that we have to be. There's pressure here. And because of that pressure, it makes us open up. The nutrients and the care, the nutrients are the equivalent of nurturing, right? How we nurture kids or parents and neighbors. And if we don't nurture properly, it's not going to open up.
Yeah.
So the duty of anyone that's here that recognizes that everyone came as a seed is, if I'm here with you, or if I see you somewhere, what can I do to just give you a little bit of a nurture? And so is it a smile? Is it a hello, even if I didn't know you? Those things are impactful. And then what the seed needs is natural light. What the human spirit needs, and the equivalent of that, is a higher power. It's a higher recognition of why we're here. If you plant the seeds and you shut the window, the tree, it comes out and it's looking for light. If you crack the window open, you literally see it bending towards the window.
Yeah.
That's how we should have been. And we were when we first came. And so anything that was going to give us clarity, we moved towards it. That's curiosity. So when we lost the curiosity, we turned away from the light. And that stunts the growth.
Yeah.
So the reason why I know we have the same purpose is we are here to expand and open up and become more mature. And so as human spirit seeds, we say we're spiritual beings having a human experience. I think everyone kind of feels that's a true statement. But this is what explains it. It's like we're having an experience away from home. We're spiritual beings because we left our spiritual home. We're having this earthly human experience in a place that is further away. It's darker. It's heavier. In order for us to burst open.
Okay.
As long as we don't stop looking upwards. As long as we don't stop looking for things that have a higher kind of value other than the material. So I think that's our duty to expand, become more mature, and bear fruits, right? Meaning our works should also resemble who we are and should also take on their own life for the better.
Yeah. I think though, like you've explained it in a really simple, like I have no doubt about what you're saying.
Yes.
But then I feel like my younger self might have said, yeah, but how? Okay, how do I know if I'm on the right track? How do I know if I'm doing the right things?
Yes.
Like,
I mean, younger self, even now we
even now.
Yeah. I mean, we're still questioning. It's a great question. So that's why it's important to actually know the difference between your talents and your purpose.
Okay.
A hammer has one purpose.
Okay. Yeah.
A hammer hits the nail. Okay, it could also take it out.
Yeah.
But you can use that hammer and like break into windows and cars, right? Same hammer. So what's the right purpose? It's construction. It's building up. That's what a hammer is made for. The purpose of a human being we have a purpose. It's to construct. It's to build up. It's to take things and push them forward, make them better, right? That's how we then get our most optimal selves, is when we're improving things.
Yeah.
Our purpose is not to destroy things.
Okay, yeah.
We kind of sense that's true, right? That's also right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are in a room and you're confused, today I don't even know what my purpose should be. Look around you and see what you can make better. That's how can you make something better than it was before? I mean, I know I'm being very simplistic, but this scales.
Yes.
It scales with business, it scales with life, relationships, everything. If my predisposition is, how can I make this better? Anything I look at, then I'm fulfilling my purpose right then. I have this secret thing I do now. I guess it's no longer secret, so I'll share it.
Yeah.
I go to a public restroom.
Okay.
It just gives me so much joy, like in a plane.
Okay.
And I know it's like halfway in the long flight, so I know it's probably not clean. And I walk in there, sure enough, it's not clean. So I clean it, and I clean the sink, and I take a bunch of tissue, wrap it around my hand, and I polish the mirror, and I flush everything, and I'm like, because I know that someone is walking in there is like holding their breath, and they're like, I don't even want to go, and they're shocked.
Yeah.
I have fulfilled my purpose for that time on that flight. So how does this apply to now Lindenhaus, my company, or my relationship with my wife, or the relationship I have with my friends? Same thing. What can I lay? And remember, I think one of the things that I enjoy is that no one know I did it. What can you do every day without any acknowledgement?
Yeah.
That makes you feel that you've furthered your environment. And that could also be yourself. What could I read today that gives me more knowledge than I had yesterday?
Yeah.
If that's how we're operating, we have no worries. I believe you then get guided towards where you can then use the tools. So that's a separate question. Gifts and tools.
Yeah.
First question is purpose. I came from a higher place. I'm on this earth having this experience, if I know that all the pressures, all the pains, all these things are supposed to help me open up. And as long as I look upwards and look for clarity, I will find clarity. And as long as I improve everything I see, I'm on the right track. Everyone can guarantee that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there is the tools. We went to a women's retreat, and I was very excited to support that women's retreat because I believe that it is a lost knowledge art form. Just we've lost the idea of what womanhood actually is. We've
Yeah.
lost it.
Okay.
Okay, I've had kind of conversations about with many people, and some people would say, "Well, woman is whatever you want it to be." Like, well, yeah, I guess you can do that if you want, but then it's like the hammer. Then you're missing something. You're not maximizing the purpose of it. And I found, this is something I've confirmed, that women have a higher degree. It's actually a tool on the soul, an actual thing on the soul,
Yeah.
that allows a woman to allow another soul to come to earth. And we know that because
Okay.
only a woman can have a child.
Yeah.
First of all, so we all know this is scientifically proven. You can even know exactly when that soul has come into that woman. It's usually and always, not usually, it's always at the middle of pregnancy. So this is the truth, fact. Okay. But I also realized and I learned that you don't have to be a mother to use that tool. You don't have to be a wife even to use that tool. That tool, that instrument that another soul uses to walk into this earth is there anyway with all women. You can do any sex change you want and you can't get it. That's why men just can't. No matter how much they change, you still don't have that. So that is truth. That's not opinions. That's not religion. That is the truth. So it turns out that funnel, it's a funnel or a bridge, or kind of like an antenna that a woman has, makes her know things without reading them, without asking anyone. She knows things that most people can't know. What it does, we say sensitive, which is true. It's more sensitive. You're able to sense things in your environment that you can't see with your physical eyes. You can walk into a room and know something is off in this place, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That ability, that tool, gives women a purpose, an enhanced purpose. Where the purpose is still that we're going to bring everything that we see into a higher state. I have that, you have that, we have the same purpose. But you have a tool that we're just describing, I don't have it, which actually makes you leader over me, which I know for sure is the fact. It's just not always material. And we live in a world that everything is all material. So then we're no longer acknowledging what power this funnel actually has. So what else can a woman do with this funnel that's other than the child and other than sensing her environment? Women are the only passageway of higher spiritual power currents, which scientists have confirmed that the energy in this world, everything has energy, everything is energy, and it came from somewhere else. That's what caused the Big Bang. They just don't know where it came. So we just name it something. We're fond of naming things, and we name it, then we don't have to ask any more questions. But we should. So that Big Bang, it was light coming from a higher plane, from a plane that we came from, even higher than where we came from. Women are the conduits of that light onto the earth plane. It's not physical sunlight, but it's spiritual currents of energy.
Yeah.
If a woman knows this, and if society knew this, we will protect women's peace with our lives. We will protect your peace with everything we've got. It's demonstrated with bees in a beehive.
Yeah.
There's one
remember you
female.
You told this, at
Yes.
the retreat, yeah.
Thousands of male bees, one female. The bees are like on it. They wake up, they go out, they get the pollen, they make the honey. They're out there working tirelessly, and they love it. They do. They love it. That's why, man, what we have is a different sensitivity, which is dollar. And we have to be out in the world, moving material things. It's if we don't, we become depressed. On the flip side, if you took that female bee out of that hive, all the male bees get confused, and ultimately the hive dries up and dies.
Yeah.
Everything, the colony, it stops existing. When you remove female spirits, women, or disturb where they are, or they voluntarily step out from that role, the whole society dries up and dies over time. Some societies don't exist anymore. This is the whole story in the Bible where the devil tempted the woman because he knew this law. So Lucifer knew that if he removes her from her place and makes her look at only material things, men have no chance. It's like, because women in this case are leaders. You have the leadership role. When a woman starts to strain, starts to hustle, starts to, and again, there's a lot of times there's no choice. It's like she's out on her own. What else is she going to do?
Yeah.
Starts to strain, starts to hustle. She has to step down. She has to step down onto the plane where all the men are, which is, it's fine. They say women can do things better than men,
Yeah.
both materially and spiritually. We know that. But what happens is no one is the conduit for that light anymore. That society starts to break down. And so that's, speaking about purpose. So if a woman knew this and a man knew this, then how do we protect that? And what does it even mean to be that conduit of light? And because we're in a very materialistic world, we think males are doing all the things. Maybe we're moving the chairs and we're moving the material, but without the womanly currents, none of that will work. And so if we knew that as men, we will want to protect that energy and give women the space and the resources and the backing to be in that place where they can do that work.
Yeah.
Just a quick reminder, guys, while you're here, if you have a podcast or a podcast idea brewing in that little brain of yours, I would love to support you. I currently have a mini course that helps you tackle the top 3 things that I hear that stops people from launching their podcast. I've also got other resources to help you launch or grow with ease. No more stressing over editing or strategy. I've got you. Just connect with me on Instagram and let's chat about how we can bring your podcast to life. It is time to stop procrastinating on this one. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
At the retreat, you did a talk similar to this. And I remember at first when we were told that you were going to come and do a talk about women stepping into their power and like how you step into your power. My initial response in my body was, why is this being taught by a man?
Yes.
And so I think you've like touched on it a little bit, but why is it so important to you that you empower women?
Humanity has no chance. That's why.
What do you mean by that?
It means, okay, I'm not speaking in an analogy. It's because someone might hear what I'm saying here and think, it makes sense that a woman can be more inspirational, and then it encourages men. I'm actually talking about actual power currents. This is demonstrated, as far as what we can't see, but we know it has an effect, is demonstrated in splitting an atom. If you have an atomic explosion, the explosion only kills a certain small percentage of the population. What kills the population for decades is the radiation. So radiation has powerful effects. So what I'm talking about here is women have a tool that can bring power currents, actual power currents, that changes our physical health, our mental health, our everything raises societies. If you see a society that everything seems to work, everything is beautiful, and that's not subjective. We know what's ugly and what's beautiful. No, very little crime. People seem to live longer. There's more harmony.
Yeah.
Much fewer societies like this on this earth today, but they're out there. You will notice that they have a certain respect for the women, and they give them a certain level of protection so that they can keep doing whatever it is that they, a lot of times we don't even know as men what that is. I'm explaining it now in detail so that maybe we can consciously start to look at women and say, wow, if she has such power, right? A female bee is not just another male bee, it's thousands of male bees that she can affect. So it's not just like a man and his wife. That wife can affect the entire society. She can uplift. So imagine if every woman in that society is doing that.
Yeah.
The highest power in the universe is flowing, needs to come down to this earth. If not, things are going to fall into shambles. She is the conduit of that power and can transfer that power into her environment if she knows. And so knowing that, for me, I love beautiful places. I love health.
Yeah.
I know where it's coming from physically and mentally, and I want to protect it. And I think all men should look into this a little bit more. It's also the reason why you have these cycles every month. It's not just, it's like, okay, if I'm not having kids, like, why do I have a cycle? Through that cycle, light comes and the doors open for you to actually transfer light onto the earth. And there are things that you could do every month to actually fall into that role. When the cycles stop, you've actually learned we should have learned how to do it, so that we're constantly standing as a transferer of light. That's what a woman should do. So a woman even becomes more valuable in her older years. Society today, that's not what we think. We start to, everyone wants to look younger, so we start contorting our bodies to keep looking young because no one wants to be old. No, like, the age is good. Age is good. In fact, your body actually maintains a certain level of beauty if your spirit is active. Even though you might have wrinkles, it looks beautiful. If your spirit is active, you can tell in someone's eyes if their spirit is active. And so, yeah, I mean, why am I interested in the topic? It's just, I think there's so much more beauty. Plus, I have a daughter, I have a wife, and I see the physical and mental consequences. I see how harsh life can be when a woman leaves it.
Yeah.
And if I'm in health and wellness, and it'll be very disingenuous to not go with what I've learned to be true. So that's why I think we should have more women's retreats. We should support women to rest a lot more. We should understand the cycles and the hormones, so that when women are going through menopause, we're not like, okay, where's the next younger woman? No, that is actually, she is in her prime of bringing beauty and life into this world. The fact she can't have babies doesn't mean she's still not doing the same duty as a woman.
Yeah.
One thing, people talk about is a woman should submit. I've always kind of not really thought about that until I got married, and I realized I don't need a woman to submit to me. And then I found it's not to the man. The woman will automatically submit to the laws of the universe because she can sense them much more powerfully than anyone else. And to submit to the laws just means swing in harmony. She will do the things that are bringing harmony to her environment, and she will completely give herself up for that because it brings peace, it brings beauty, it brings life. If you believe in God, which I do, that is following the Lord's will.
Yeah.
Without having to even read anything. A woman can sense that at the highest level, and submitting to that means, what else are we doing here? If she does that, a man does that, we will never have any issues. We will not. And so that's where I think it's valuable to say, let's not just work or have relationship for the sake of it because we're lonely or we're bored or we think society wants us to. What if we did it because we believed, we have conviction and we believe in things. And it's not enough to just believe in it. I came up with a mantra that I want to build what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just work. And I know a lot of things in this, whatever industry, healthcare, finance, are wrong. Like, wrong. Why will I keep doing it if I don't believe it? If I'm in a religious setting and there are many things that I know are wrong, why will I take it in, even if I don't know the right answer yet?
Yeah.
So I want to build and live my conviction, what I believe, so that my business has to support what I'm saying. I have to try to step up and support my wife, my child, my friends. Because the more everyone can, especially women, can really enjoy the peace of mind to step into that role, everything would change on this earth. Doesn't mean that men don't have our responsibility. We're neglecting our responsibility of this protection.
Yeah.
And this is where there's all the chaos. And so for me, as a man, I just want to step up, create the spaces, bring inspiration and hope, resources, my energy to support what I believe. So that's why to me it's really, really important.
Yeah. I had a guy on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he was saying that he grew up without a dad, basically. His dad was in and out of his life.
Yeah.
And as an adult, he had to learn all these things because he never really received love from a man growing up, or his whole life, really.
Yes.
So I feel like there's a lot of men in that position where they don't know who to go to.
Yes.
Maybe they're in with the wrong crowd, or there's the wrong role model or whatever. And there's just this disconnect, I think, with a lot of men and connecting with this female empowerment space, because it's kind of like, well, we deserve, our voice too, and we do a lot of things in this society too, and we should be appreciated. And I get it. I don't feel like, I have a women's space, but that doesn't mean I'm anti-men.
Yes.
And I feel like men also deserve what we are having too, but there's a disconnect at the moment that I'm seeing with men.
There is. This is why I think we need to know what our purpose is and the tools we have available to us. Because when you're living, just like I said, if I went into that bathroom and I cleaned it up, I don't need anyone to congratulate me.
Yeah.
Or to tell me that I did such a good, I don't need that. That's not, when you're living what you're supposed to do, it's nice to have acknowledgement here and there, but it's not, you wouldn't, if you're sure it's what you're supposed to do, it raises your self-esteem. In fact, that's what self-esteem means, is that you know your abilities. And so there's confidence when you do something and you know that you have the skill to do it and you know you're supposed to. As a man that has a child and leaves, there's no way that man has peace in their life ever. Unless they're numb and dead. And if they are, then I don't even want to have anything to do with them. We want to really avoid those kind of people. If you've numbed yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, I don't want to be around you. I'm looking for people that they may be confused or they may be trying, but they want to bring love and light to the world.
Yeah.
And so if you give that kind of person clarity, it builds their self-confidence and their self-esteem. And the best way I think we can teach any young person is to be the person that we know we should be. If I fall into the role of what I know I should be as a man, I don't need a separate space for that. If men knew that for sure, there'll be a lot more harmony, because we don't need it to be our daughter or our wife or our mother. Every woman will respect, will say, is she taken care of? Her dad died. Oh, is she married? No marriage. How is she being? It's not as if, women are weak and so men have to protect. No, I've just said women are actually leaders and stronger when it comes from the highest purpose on this earth.
Yeah.
And so a man that says, how do I help? It will give a man joy. And of course it will give a woman joy. And that's what we used to talk about, the courtship or the knights in shining armor. It was those images, not because a man is coming to save a woman from anything. It is his duty to just be there as a shield and a protector so that the light can come into the world. That's we're completely missing today. And so, of course, if a man thinks that if he doesn't know that this is his role, then he's trying to be on the same level as the woman when he's not. She's up here, he's here naturally. And so that's why a man used to bow when a woman was passing by, not call her names, like just bow, like literally, like that's what we did. That's natural. No one taught anyone how to do that. It's the inner recognition of the value of a woman. That's not in society anymore. So I want to keep talking about it. And if I had anything to do with it, I want to help men know. And there is strength that comes with that. You know, there is activity that comes with a hard activity, right? So a man that has a son will be taking that son out to do very hard work.
Yeah.
To prepare them so that it's just a second nature to build very strong things, to make society strong, again, to protect the whole kingdom.
Do you think, though, on the flip side, I guess,
Yes.
trying to see it maybe from a general male perspective, is that nowadays there's a lot of pressure on men. I have to look a certain way. I have to have muscles. I have to go to the gym. I have to earn a certain amount of money because women don't want to date you if you're not earning money. And, you know, there's a lot of things, a lot of boxes that men have to tick. Do you think there's a lot of pressure there?
I think there is a lot of pressure, but I don't think a lot of the pressure is always bad.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's, again, a matter of understanding, having clarity. You know, if it's all superficial, I need to drive this car because, and it's, you know, unfortunately it's true. You know, if you drive a certain car, a certain type of woman will be attracted to you. If that's the type of woman you want, then go for it. Like, anyone can do what they want. All the things we've said about women, no one has to do it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, but it does have consequences, basically, mentally, in every way. So rather than feeling pressure from the influence of society, there is an inner pressure. And that's what we should all be more concerned about. The inner pressure is the pressure that man feels when he leaves that child, that he just fathered with this woman and stops and doesn't support her and doesn't support his child. Society doesn't have to tell you anything. You will have restless nights unless you numb yourself with drugs or whatever. And so we should be able to differentiate between society pressure and inner pressure. Because the inner pressure would always guide you in the right way. It would not let you rest if you're still alive inside of you. And that's a pressure. Sometimes that pressure is good. Every time it's good. Societal pressures, that's a different thing. Have money so you can drive this car and women. And that, okay, the same materialistic woman will get those guys. But the woman that knows what I'm saying, and I'm sure you're going to have people that get it, and I'm like, yes. And then some will say, no, I don't want, that's fine. But anyone that gets what I'm saying, you don't need to see a guy with driving any car. They show up with a certain energy.
Yeah.
You just know it.
Yeah.
Because you do have that higher sensitivity. This is, I think, such an important topic. If I am trying to be the absolute best version of myself as a man that I should be, I will be attracted to a woman that is also trying to be the best version of herself. She will not be the best version of herself because we're not perfect, but she will be trying.
Yeah.
Because she's trying, she will appreciate me for all the hard things that I'm doing, and I'll appreciate her for all the beauty she can bring. That's the yin and yang.
Yeah.
And that solves so many questions. And I've confirmed that you don't need to do anything special. Make a checklist of man's issues, and men make a checklist, you know, if she doesn't do this and she doesn't cook and da-da-da-da. It's like, it would all happen. But you first start with yourself. If you're a man, you start with yourself. Like, are you getting up and doing the things you know you should be doing? If you're not sure, take some time not to listen to everything on social, because like you said, they're very toxic male figures there. The reason why, by the way, those figures that are attracting so many men, because they have an element of truth in them. You can't attract so many people if you don't have a little bit of truth. And men know that we should be doing hard things. That's normal.
Yeah.
We are the protectors. That's fine, right? If you're a man and you don't know how to do hard things and you find it difficult, simply because you probably didn't have a father that made it normal. And then just admit that and go and learn that. If you're a woman and you really don't know how to use your hands and do all these beautiful things, and maybe you just didn't have a mom that did that.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't have a mom at all. So it doesn't make you wrong or bad. So now I know I have this sensitivity. I want to tap into it. It's going to change how you dress. It's going to change how you even speak. It changes your face, literally. Then you'll be drawn like a magnet to a man that also is trying to achieve those values. Same goes with men that are hustling for the sake of showing their shiny things. They will be drawn like a magnet to a woman that wants to get shiny things.
Yeah.
And so we should not complain if we're attracting those women, if that's who you are. You will attract those women. That is a law. So it is your innermost core of who you are is what you attract, not your mood board, not your vision board, not your, what you want. We attract who we are.
Yeah.
And so if you find yourself around a lot of men that are always, nasty and always don't respect women and are always done certain things, not to say that, they're right, because they're not. But if that's all you're attracting, then you might want to step back and see what you're doing with your energy.
Yeah.
Double down on what you know you should be doing. It creates this invisible force field, almost like a flame of fire, where no ignorant, weak, man can pass. You may see them and you will run the other way, but they will never get that close to you if you are doubled down on that. Same with men. You're like, oh, I never see a woman anymore. Be the man that you know you should be. And you will be shocked how quickly, without social media, without any apps, if you're there a lot, you will start to find different types of people. That's the solution. We can't sit in the place we've been, and just because now we want something, it just starts to come without changing who we are. Because it's who we are that's the magnet, not the wish for what we want.
I love that you're so passionate about this. I feel like this could have been like 3 episodes.
I could be completely wrong with everything I'm saying. It could be. So, but we shouldn't just take it in. Test it though. Feel it. If you do, I've confirmed I'm not wrong. Because a lot of the questions I have been answered now. Not only have they been answered, they've given me so much energy, and my life is become elevated.
Yeah.
So you can't be wrong. And it's not about money. Not about the money. It's just an elevation of love, of kindness, of empathy, of resources, both energy and material. So, if the things we're saying are actually bringing life and love and joy to your life, then, how can that be wrong? But you just have to have some courage, if you're a man, to do this. Why will I do that? Then she would think I'm weak. No. She would love, am I right or wrong as a woman?
Yeah.
If a man is acting like this, would you say, ew, why is he always trying to, right?
Not at all.
Right?
Yeah.
You won't, right? And so if a man, men should know that maybe not all women will appreciate this. I actually can tell you, not all women will. Maybe those are not the ones you want. If anyone thinks they don't need women, they can just do it themselves and whatever. If you have a woman, she's just a trophy, then go for that. The women that like that, you deserve them.
Yeah.
But the ones that are trying to be their absolute best selves would certainly appreciate this, because they need the peace, the protection, the spaces to operate and build beautiful things, beautiful gardens. Like, words can't even describe the things that a woman can bring into this world. We just execute. We just, sometimes without knowing, we just go start building something. We don't know. All of a sudden, women are in there.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens with the bees. I don't think they went to discuss who's the queen now. How do we get her in this hive? It just happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm going to wrap up with the Woman Up wrap up, which is the same 4 questions I ask everyone. Tell me something about you that no one really knows. It could be like a quirk, something like funny, something mysterious, whatever comes to mind.
Something about me that no one knows, or maybe just very, very few people.
Or few
know.
people, yeah.
I'm learning German.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
Ich muss meine Deutsch verbessern, so ein paar Bücher zu lesen.
I don't know what that means.
There's a when I lost my dad a long time ago, I found this book. It was written in English, but I found out it was written in German originally. And it completely changed the way everything about my life, turned everything in a different direction. So I said, I just want to get it from the source.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I started reading. I couldn't understand anything. I had to go back to basics and just learn German. And then I've been learning now for 10, 20 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
So but I just said in German, I want to improve my German so I can read more German books.
Okay, amazing. Okay, would you rather go back in time and give advice to your younger self or meet your future self and hear what he has to say?
Go back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you want to change anything, or you just want to...
I guess life happens the way it should happen.
Yeah.
I do believe, though, that opportunities can be missed. There are people that the main topic on the deathbed of everyone is regret.
Yeah.
Regret. And that kills people more than just whatever old age. It just is excruciating. And I think I'm still young, so I think I could still do things. But, I'll do things more efficiently. It'll take more time to do things. And I will just let the young person know that, hey, you're good, Future self, I think that is in my control today. And one of the things that changed everything for me, including my work, my relationships, my health, is picturing that future self as the absolute best version of what you want for a man. Again, this is what I've confirmed. I don't think we just can do anything we want without consequences. There's a reason we used to talk about the knight in shining armor. Gentlemanliness, courage, strength, right? It's manly. And I can try with all my energy to see me in that way and pursue it. So everything I try to do today is to get me there, including flying over here to have this conversation. I just think even if one man or one woman just says, this makes sense, at least let me see more, then it actually it strengthens me and gives me more energy to continue on that path. So I think we're fully in control of our future. Past, we know I can't go into the past, but I can learn from him.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I've learned is don't waste any time.
Okay.
Whatever it is you need to do it, but still do it immediately, but you can do it slowly. But don't put it off. If you know you're supposed to change the way what you're doing, do it slowly, step by step, but don't put it off.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, that's the thing that I try to live by, and I certainly would have told my younger self, just start.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't think people will laugh or whatever. Don't put it off. Try, put it out there, and so I try to live like that now.
I love that. And we appreciate you coming to
have this it's my pleasure. Like I said, it energizes me. So thank you.
If we had another conversation a year from now, what is one thing that you hope you've achieved by then?
I would have supported a very large number of women that are striving to be their best version of themselves.
I love that.
And I don't know how many, but I do know one at a time is the good way to be. But I want to look and see, okay, not just because I said it, but because it's actually transforming people's life, their mental health, their physical health. And the reason I say women is, like I said earlier, one woman, 1,000, one queen bee, 1,000 male bees. if I can support them, then man, we just follow along. We do, and not in a bad way. That's leadership from women. So if women can go step back onto that pedestal, which they have naturally, then men look up and just look for direction. All they see is power and light and beauty. We just start to do things that are beautiful. It's recent. It's been, maybe because a lot of people at Lindenhaus are women. I have a lot of conversations. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of illness mentally as well.
Yep.
The root cause is this topic. We've stepped away from the place that gives us all the life and all the vitality. And I have details behind this. Like, we can go deep into even the science. But I just thought today I'll give the general, idea. And, anyone can say, okay, then how do I keep that funnel clear? And what do I need to do? And there are things women can do, things men can do to support that. So I will want to spend a lot of time in the next 12 months speaking about this and doing things about this and bringing resources and support in any way I can. So if we have a conversation 12 months from now, I want to see how that activity has helped, hopefully transformed a lot of people, men and women.
Okay, last one is, if you had to describe this season of your life as a song, a book title, or a movie, what would it be?
You have good questions. Very creative. I did say something the other day. Let me see if I can remember. I do remember. I'm not sure. I think. I'll repeat it. And I think this is advice as well to anyone that starts this kind of journey. Is you haven't seen anything yet. Say that to yourself. Like, it's not about the haters and what the haters are doing. When you start going, again, this is not like an easy path. That's why the people like you can know it's right. And because it's so hard, you go back to what's comfortable.
Yeah.
That's why there's a need for community. There's that of people trying, and you haven't seen anything yet in the best possible way. Because for me, every day, and I'm not, like, every day feels like a miracle.
Oh, I love that.
It is, because I've doubled, tripled down on what we're saying here. Again, it's not easy, but what is easy? Like, what good thing in this universe happens overnight or is easy?
Yeah.
And you haven't seen anything yet. If you feel like you're seeing some progress, or you haven't seen any progress, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah. It's
going to be amazing. And the help is there, the support is there. There is a higher power everywhere. Is there a song that
there is.
there? Okay,
haven't
good.
seen anything
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. But again, it's in a most positive way.
Yes.
Of the best is yet to come. That's
Yeah,
another.
I
That's
love
what
that.
I'll say. Yes, the
My
best
mum
is
has
yet to.
that like a little thing on her. I don't know what it's called. It's like an engraved
Really? The best
stone,
is yet
and
to
it says
come.
the best is yet to come.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's I want everything I do to tell people that the best is definitely yet to come.
That's a good note to end on as well. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
No,
Thanks for
thank
having
you
me.
so much
It's
for
a
coming.
pleasure. Great job on this podcast.
Oh,
I've been
thank
seeing
you.
your progress.
Yeah.
So.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things. We really appreciate it, and it helps the podcast reach more women. So I will see you next week. Bye.
Okay, that's it for another episode of the Woman Up podcast. Thank you for spending time with us. It really means the world. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please take a second to follow the show and leave us a review. It really helps more women to find these conversations. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And also leave us a comment if anything in the episode resonated with you. We love, love, love to hear from you. Even better still, feel free to share this episode and tag us on your socials. Of course, I will see you right here next week for more real talk, sisterhood, and conversations that actually matter. Until then, keep going, keep growing, and woman up.